to become a Sparky, you need to know how to strip cable a certain way.
Yep.
You can't just throw the pliers at the cable expecting it to strip.
Yep.
Same thing with AI. You can't just throw information expecting the right outcome you're hoping to achieve.
Yep. It's just everything's organic content now, man, because it's about education and being the subject matter expert in what you do, right? And none of us do it enough.
Channel 9 News put out, like, students were protesting against AI. They want AI banned in schools. And I commented, this is exactly why AI is going to take their jobs.
Where do we kick off, Keoni? Obviously, the other day you come in last week. Was it last week? Yeah.
Yeah, last week.
Keoni come in last week and we just had a meeting, but we did do a recording, and then he checked all this out, and then I'm like, fucking, why don't you just get on next week? And here we are. So
we made it happen.
We did. So we got Keoni this morning, then I got actually got Axton Jackson in a couple of hours. So he's coming on as well. So it's been a pretty good setup. We just got to make sure we get this right when Keoni goes. We're in last week, and I found out that you're only 20. 20?
Yeah.
Fuck, I still can't.
Yeah.
Can't believe that. And you told me a little bit about growing up from. You grew up here. Really good parents. Your challenge was probably the dyslexia year 2, and then and you're a Sparky, pretty close to you got electric shock, pretty close to maybe not being here.
Yeah.
In some dodgy motel. I hear. I'll let you talk about that in a minute. But probably where I wanted to start was, I reckon about 18 months ago, I started following you, and what really clicked with me, and it's funny how we ended up here.
Yeah.
I started messaging you probably 6 months ago, or we did somehow. I think it was when you done the podcast with Shill.
Yes.
I think there I reached out to you or something like that anyway. But I started following you because you were like, fuck it, I'm just going to lock in. And you started going to the gym, and you were doing heaps of video, and you're being consistent. And I'm like, fuck, that's really cool, especially as a young guy. I didn't know how young you were. So to have that mindset and lock in is pretty, I reckon it's pretty special at 20. And like I said the other day, I'm like, imagine where you're going to be at 22. Like in 2 years.
It's a spin out, man. It's
to
a
do
spin
it.
out.
If you stay consistent, you keep doing what you're doing, because between 20 and 30, you can try 10 different things, right? But if you're doing what you love right now, and you're already teaching me stuff, and there's probably a couple of things we'll talk about today that we could lean on each other. Yeah. So you lock in, you're 20, and I think you got a great following. You must start to, and the reason I know that is because I was talking to Dave Clare once, and he's like, oh, this fucking video guy, and he mentioned your name, and I didn't click the other day when I went to the keynote that it was going to be you, because that was a while ago. I think he mentioned you.
Wow, okay. Interesting.
I can't remember where he mentioned you. Maybe I was over at his house in Queensland, and then when I walked in the other day when we were at the golf, was it the Fremantle Golf Club, and you're there. And then you said g'day, and I'm like, go check your Instagram messages. And then you did, and you're like, fucking wicked. And mate, things happen for a reason. So,
man, 100% agree with you. I'm big on what you put out, you get.
Yep.
So the energy that and the content that I do put out there online for everyone to see, you're actually attracting that, which so many people don't know that what you put out, you get.
Yep.
And that's something I'm really big on. And obviously, Paul, yourself, like, you're the definition of a good man. Like, before you even we knew each other, you reached out being like, man, love what you're doing, like offering that support, which when it all clicked, I'm like, fuck, that's unreal, man. Like keep doing you, and man, great things will align, especially in the online space when you just start putting yourself out there.
Yeah. Something that resonated with me last week, well, a couple of things that you could probably fucking help me set me camera up. But you hit me up and you're like, why the journey? Why this? Why that? And you're only 20, so it's like, okay, so what's happened, growing up? What's going on? And you didn't say much. You're like, no, I had pretty good. I was a Sparky. And I was trying to say to you, like, the reason I do this is because you peel back the layers, you sit there, and there'll be little things that pop up, and then you may resonate with it. And I was trying to understand that with you. And it got you thinking a bit, at least. And it was like, and then you said, in year 2, you had recognize the whole with the dyslexia, which is it dyslexia?
Yeah, I actually have never publicly spoken about that, which is unreal. So,
and there's always probably every podcast, there's probably one or two things from every podcast where they're gone, I don't really talk about that. And to answer your question, why do it? is that moment to sit here, reflect, go back. Because when you think about it a bit more, and it probably means you don't speak about it too much, but when you do think about it or speak about it, you'll probably start to recognize why little things it might resonate with today, you know, and we talk about the roadblocks, risks and resilience that we do, you know, over time and throughout our life from when we're little and more. Fuck. And then I reckon there's nuggets in there, even if it's subconscious or conscious, of why, you know, maybe that's affected you, the dyslexia. And I think you were saying your parents jumped onto it, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about that maybe?
Yeah. So obviously year two, I was diagnosed with dyslexia. And it's a time in my life I don't remember. So it was the other day I was talking to Mum in the kitchen. I'm like, Mum, like, I don't remember much of that part of my life. Tell me a bit about myself, essentially. And she goes, yeah, so it was pretty rough. Like, I remember you coming home from school one day saying you wanted to kill yourself. And when Mum said that, I'm like, shit. Yeah, I've had I'm not going to say easy upbringing, but I've had a very comfortable upbringing. My parents have been very giving. They have sacrificed a lot for us to live comfortably now, which is something a
lot of love and care.
Yeah, man. And it's something awesome. You don't realize until you get older and you start seeing the dynamics of society. So when Mum mentioned that, I'm like, yeah, right. Okay. Well, I could have had a complete different trajectory of life if I didn't have parents wanting to help, wanting to assist with getting the right education for that learning ability.
Yep.
The big thing that I found in school with most likely having ADHD, not diagnosed, but I'm sure anyone who knows me and watches this is like, 100% this guy.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, for sure.
Superpower. I say it's a superpower.
100%.
I was talking about on the weekend, someone brought it up, went to the footy and stuff and Crown, and they're like,
hell yeah.
We got talking about it anyway, and I'm like, fucking superpower.
Amen, man. Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Wouldn't want to change it for the world.
Literally, man. And I feel in school, especially like young guys growing up now, or just young kids in general, what your learning disability, I think, is bullshit. Like, it's not a learning disability. Like, just what the school system has been teaching for hundreds of years is now outdated and it's not working. Like, I saw this thing online. It was a phone 100 years ago to now. Like, you can't even recognize it. The evolution's crazy. Classroom 100 years ago and now, the only thing different is the whiteboard. It's now a green screen. So the actual classroom hasn't changed in decades, man. So when nothing has changed to societies and the economic we're living in now. So the big shift I had to face is really unwiring my brain to think that what I have is actually an advantage. It's a ability which I have no one else has. For example, dyslexia. The first thing I did coming out of school, I searched up the benefits because no one mentioned the benefits going through school. And it was like pattern recognition, ability to communicate and connect with human beings. And I'm like, hold on, why the fuck wasn't this mentioned in school? When I struggled. I would study for 8 hours straight and get a low C. Why wasn't I investing into these other skills which I'm naturally talented at? And just
so you've just hit it on the head. So last week when I said a lot of that shows up now, you were thinking about didn't know because you were like, oh, my parents fixed it and all that, but now you're starting to highlight it because like now that you've gone all in and locked in, and I go back to that piece 18 months ago or whatever, you know, you started doing it. I think there's a bigger piece coming out of that year too than you probably know because you've gone, fuck it, I'm really good at talking, asking questions, connecting with people, but you've doubled down on the last 18 months, I reckon, because I can tell even when you walked up to me at the keynote speak and the way you asked me about my business and all that, like, and I read that really well. And I'm like, you're asking the right questions. I know you were, educated a little bit by Shill how to go up and do that as well. But the reason you're making a big point of that is probably going back to then, right?
Good point. I haven't really thought about that.
100% it is, right? Because that's our hard times is what really teaches us, right? And even just the whole, you know, you've had a few challenges more than I knew. You know, the whole being a Sparky and getting electrocuted and stuff like that. So you're like, fuck it, like might not have been here. So why not just give everything all I got anyway. Whether you're going to look like a fucking idiot, feel like an idiot, embarrassed, people say something, people judge you. Like, mate, so if you didn't get electrocuted or you didn't have dyslexia, you might not have gone, fuck this. You know what I mean? I'll give it everything I got. Because it usually takes that big shift in someone to go, fuck it. Mate, I don't, like, you asked about this. It took me 3 years to do it, right? And I was probably more worried about clients and that. Just, it was my own judgment, spending time on this and not fucking on clients, in the business. And I get asked now, are you still doing insurance? And I am. We're doing it heaps. And that was what I was worried about. But also on the flip side, people are going, I fucking love the podcast you're doing. Like, I'm talking client owners. And like, because 43 now, but over the last 5 years, all the business owners I got, they're all doing the same things. They're trying to improve self-health, go through divorce, marriages, all that. So you actually relate to them in another way as well. You've also got to keep, the clients happy and do the work in the, in the other business, in the main business.
That's one thing with the podcast, man. Like that's something I encourage for a business owner to actually start, because not to have the next Stephen Bartlett show.
Yeah.
It's building a relationship with your current and future customers or potential clients.
Yep.
And for example, when you're in the art and business of insurance, so before someone is obviously going to buy a high ticket insurance item from you, they're going to research you.
Yep.
And the podcast SEO and that sort of stuff is quite high. So most likely when someone searches your name, your show's going to come up, and they're going to learn more about your journey, your story, and build that trust. And even if you structure the show in a way to objection handle common objections that you get through the sales process, by the time they inquire, they're already warmed up, lead ready to convert, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. I haven't even looked at it like that. And I always get asked how I'm going to monetize it. Mate, I have not thought about monetizing this. It's really, I want to make a social impact and a difference.
Amen, man.
And I am going to do my story as well. I haven't started doing that yet. There's 2 or 3 things I want to do on the JRNY brand. One is this, the guest speaker, and the ongoing. That'll be the consistency. And now I've kicked back off. We're recorded 4 now, I think, on the second round of this. Had about an 8-week break. Fucking boys. On this next round, I want to stay at least 52 weeks consistent, 1 a week. And I'm even getting to double up. Like, we've got 2 years today. Like, there's no... I think what I learned about this podcast, and I never realized it in the beginning, I always thought it was going to be too generic and there'll be heaps of them out there. It's actually not, because when you go to a podcast, usually it's about a topic, whether it's insurance, whether it's, content, whether, it's about a niche. And like, this is a bit of a niche, but in a different way. And it's about the guest and reflecting and the roadblocks, risk and resilience.
It's more of a chat, man, too, which I think at the end of the day, when there's so much polished, perfect content out there, people value the imperfect perfections, like the stutter in an episode, the fuck ups in an episode. That's
love it.
What is valued more, especially in the world when you have all of this, don't want to get into it, but AI just bullshit. People are sick of it. So this type of interaction is valued more. Like,
even starting off, like I just turn them all on. Like, we're trying to make it all formal and stuff. And I probably will. There is probably a few bits to polish. I'm working that out on this second round, but I'm not trying to worry about perfecting it before I launch. It took me 3 years because of the same reason, not just judgment, but like, I've got to have the room set, I've got to have this, and it's like, just fucking start. To be honest, 3 years ago, I should have just got on the phones and just started, right? But tell me, before we go back and get a bit deeper into it, tell me about the podcast you started. And what happened?
Yeah, man. So I've told the story a fair bit, so I'm going to try and have a bit of a unique twist onto it now. So obviously the idea came up when I was working a job I hated in the Sparky industry. It wasn't for me. I knew this isn't something I wanted to do long term. So was at the time reading my first ever book I ever read, cover to cover, which was What Color's Your Parachute for Teens. And that extracted the skills that I had within myself, which I couldn't answer on paper. Like the generic questions school always asks you, what are your skills? Fuck, I don't know, man. Like, but this resource helped extract that. So straight away I knew one of my skills were connecting with people, sales, building that personal relationship. So I had to build something around that. I just didn't know what yet. Hence why I got a job. It was funding the dream. That was the motivation behind it. I was in the work car one day when it all clicked. Let's start a podcast. The tradie was next to me. I said this out loud, a podcast. Grabbing like the size of the seat. And the tradie looked at me and he goes, fuck you on, man. Like, it's so random, it was quiet, and it all just clicked. So I knew what I wanted, I just wasn't sure how I was going to get it. So from there, I didn't have enough money to buy all the equipment. I know you don't need all the equipment in the world to start, as you mentioned, but I wanted good quality mics, wanted to start off strong because this is something I wanted to do long term. So I cleaned my room out, cleaned my study out, and just sold a bunch of stuff, books, old toys, anything you could think of that you could sell on Facebook Marketplace. And ended up collecting around $800. Went on Amazon, lashed out. It all came, and I'm like, okay, now what? So now we still got to start planning episodes. And it was on my bedroom floor with a cushion around the mic, so the audio was good. There wasn't that echo. That was my first episode, and
wow,
I typed up a script, which look, I can't even listen to my first episodes now because they're so cringe, and it was just not me.
Yeah,
like I would script an episode, read it word by word, try not to make it imperfect, and that's how it all started. And then that first episode was like the top lessons I've learnt before the age of 18. And I started the podcast when I was 18, and the mission at the time for the show was to inspire younger individuals through these conversations, because that's something I didn't have when I was young. I had to get out of my comfort zone and really have these hard conversations with people to learn from and grow from, which I feel that matured me a lot quicker, and it gave me access to a network that I couldn't even think of that was possible. So I wanted to bring these conversations to other young people that were going through the same challenges and struggles that I went through, which mainly the transition from school to what do you do next type thing. And then over the past, I would say 16 months, the podcast has taken a turn to empowering growth through real conversations. Which is something I'm big now. And that's simply taking...
What's the name of it?
The growth concept.
It is the growth concept.
And it's taking complex ideas, topics, and systems and dumbing that down in a way where someone with no knowledge can understand. I'm 20. I got no knowledge about, for example, insurance. So when we do a podcast and we brainstorm more about the business and work that you do, I'll be asking questions that someone with fuck all would ask, therefore making it super simple and basic.
When are we doing that?
I'd say in the next couple of weeks, I reckon. Hell yeah.
Lock it in.
Hell yeah, lock it in.
The one thing I wanted to talk to you about today is
100%.
Let's do the counteract on that. And
for sure.
To be honest, I'm actually interested. I want to get on more other podcasts and go the other way. So it's not just the journey.
100%, yeah.
But also I just love learning, and whether you're 20 or, fucking someone's 30, 40 or 50, we always learn off them. And I'll tell you what's a really good point. I used to be a fitter by trade, and I was Navy, went mining in 2007, upgrade apprentice, and then I ended up running a workshop. Ex-father-in-law now, in Malaga, and then he sold to Kerry Stokes and stuff. There's a whole story there. I'd actually love to get him on. So I run the workshop there, and something I really learned. We had engineers, apprentices, there was welding, engineering, manufacturing trucks, like there's all the different avenues. And one thing I learned, and one thing I always did actually, and this is where I think maybe understanding people and emotional intelligence, I probably picked that up a lot earlier, and always trying to be kind and always listen, is even back then I used to listen to apprentices because we're all human, right? And just because and maybe it come back to me being a young leader, even from Navy into the workshops, because I struggled a bit because old school qualified, whether it's a welder or a sparky or a fitter, they didn't want to listen, right? Because you're young.
It's my way or the highway.
Yeah. And we've always done it this way, which, we all hate that sentence these days. I always done the opposite, and I'm like, I could have a 17-year-old come up and tell me something. I'm like, fucking try that out. Or, a different way of doing it. Or, because it's all about when you're doing manufacturing, it's all about being efficient, right? Because you're building numerous units at one time, and there's thousands of parts and all the different kind of stuff, and then you end up with problems. But it's always about improving when you're kicking off a custom, whatever it is you're building. And these were trucks, mining trucks, and I was really, really big on listening to everyone and taking it in. Doesn't mean you always go with it, because obviously you're in that role for a reason, you understand it, but getting it on board and empowering younger people, I think is really key, because where do you think they're going to be in 5 years? They're going to be qualified and they're going to be your key people, right? Yeah. And because even when I was younger, I was like 14, 9 months, I was a butcher. working at a butcher's.
Yeah, wow.
And it was the same things, right? They definitely didn't want to fucking listen to you. They were mad. Butchers are fucking probably the maddest industry I've been in.
Yeah, wow.
And but you got that. They were harder days. Like butchers, fucking right. I used to work a heap of hours, 15 hours a day, stuff like that.
Shit.
They were funny, but they're also hard asses too, and they do random stuff like out the back of the butchers. There's some stories
I can imagine.
So I think I took that, and it was like not to get treated like treat others like that. I'm all about having fun and stuff, but I think my generation of being a manager or a leader or whatnot, all that stuff shifting. Even the Navy used to have some write-off stuff they used to do like years and years ago, like crossing the equator and the young ones, or your initiation, and it was pretty bad stories back, years and years way before me. So I think all that shifted, but my point is empowering, educating, leading, and listening to the younger people. Like now, I fucking love listening to you. You probably gave me a little bit of inspiration last week. Even fucking going to the gym yesterday, I'm like, fuck, if you can lock it in at fucking 20, I got to get my ass.
We can tee up a session, man.
I haven't been for like 2 months.
Yeah,
just with all the business stuff going on. I usually go a fair bit, like 4 times a week, but I've been on and off. And I suppose the other piece out of that, just another point on that, what I have learned is probably not to kick my own ass as much. Like I used to, like, didn't go to the gym, and then you'd be fucking like, I'd be hard on myself. But if I'm not in the right headspace at the moment to go, or I'm busy doing stuff, I will take a bit of a break. And I've done it probably every year.
Because I would say I 100% agree. I'm hard on myself.
Yep.
And to an point, you got to stop being Mr. David Goggins and really listening to yourself. Yeah. But on the flip side of that,
you need it.
Like even back to what you were saying with the whole leadership thing, you only it's like the yin yang thing. You only know the good once you know what turn to shit looks like, and that's still something I'm trying to figure out. But being able to show up when you've said you're going to show up, like every day I plan out the night before. It's always written down. If I don't do it, then I personally are hard on myself, and it's probably an experiencing too, man.
Do you know what you just said then? So that was me before, right? I haven't been like that for a while, and I think it shifts in you a lot. Like, fucking go back to the workshop days, mate. I'd be up at fucking 4. I'd wake up thinking about work, and then you get up, go for a run. Used to run with my dogs and all that kind of stuff. Right the night before, like it's fucking funny you bring it up, because like right now, when you get older, you're like, fuck, I used to do it. Why can't I do it now? But I think it's
yes. I've literally had that same thing. Like, oh man, I say that like I'm fucking 50.
Yeah.
but when I was an apprentice, I'd wake up at 4 a.m. and run 12 Ks before work.
There you go.
Fuck doing that now.
Yeah. It shifts a lot, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So, but the thing is, I suppose my point now, if you don't realize where you're at, and I load up, I got a fucking lot going on all the time. Yeah. And I delete, and then add back in. If I sat there and dwelled on or tried to write that list and do all that stuff perfect now, I probably put a lot of pressure on myself. Because if you're kicking, it's the same as kicking your own ass. If you kick your own ass too much, you end up creating that much fucking pressure on yourself, which causes an issue also, right? Because then when you don't do it, you're disappointed, and then like. Last couple of years, I probably learned this the last couple of years, and I go back. I was watching a podcast the other day with Tyler about self-compassion. It's like, just fucking slow down, give yourself a break. You don't have to be that perfect person to get shit done. Obviously, there's big rocks, little rocks every day.
Yeah.
And just take a step back, and I've learned how to do that a lot now, and do what matters and what moves the needle. Right now, me writing down 10 things last night and getting up at 4 this morning, I didn't think that, but I'm just saying as an example. Would that do me the world of good? Probably fucking not. Because am I going to do that every day? You got to be realistic with yourself. When I was fucking 20-something or 30-something, everything was different.
Question on that. How do you determine realistic?
Trust your body and your gut. And am I doing it to try and prove something to myself? Or is it realistic? What I really need to get done tomorrow, and really what matters and moves my needle for tomorrow? Is it really, prep's always good, right? And like I'm always fucking thinking work in the next day and all that. And I even done it last night. I didn't write nothing down or anything, but last night I'm like, I need an hour on the couch. So I went and watched a TV show. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I'll go and watch a movie or something to wind down and take my mind off work or off whatever. That there sometimes is as big as help as sitting there and prepping for the next day. Because when you're constantly on all the time, you've got to listen to your body or your head or whatever and go, I just need a couple of hours to lay on the couch and eat some dinner and go to bed early. You know what I mean? And or you could sit there and prep and work and, do all that stuff. But just sometimes you need to go do the opposite. I suppose is my point. I'm just thinking about, obviously we're fucking 23 years apart. I wouldn't have done that 10 years ago. There's no way. It's just fucking on.
I think that's good though. Like, I get my parents saying to me all the time, "Oh, you got to like wind down," because whenever I'm home, I'm just working. And I'm at that stage in my life where one, I can do that. I can still function on 5 hours of sleep. However, I've noticed recently when I'm not getting enough sleep, as I mentioned when we had the chat last week, I get a really bad stutter. And it's really fucking annoying. Because I can't even say my own name. To really introduce myself to someone, I really have to focus so hard to get words out, or I can't get them out. And it's like the other day, I was introducing myself to the director of this PR firm just down the road. And I was introducing myself to the team. And I'm like, hello, my name's Keoni. And I'm like, fuck. Like, I had one job, pronounce just a sentence in full without screwing up. But however, I've learned to embrace that through obviously conversations with Shill. And obviously Shill has a super bad stutter. And he has found ways to cope with that, which I am learning still. But he has so many years finding ways to deal with that. And I was talking to him, I'm like, man, like I'm forcing myself to be quiet in rooms where I shouldn't be. Just so I don't quote unquote make a fool out of myself. And he goes, man, just embrace it. And I'm like, okay.
Is that like, and I think about this, like I've spoken in front of people before and I get really nervous and I can usually talk like this, no problem. But what I always found, and obviously Shill's the Jordan at this, right? It's like even when you're fucked up, it's like be vulnerable first. Lay it out on the table. So it's like, guys, I'm going to intro myself, but I normally fuck it up because I got a stutter. But I'm just laying it out there because I want to fucking embrace it. So the moment you like lay your cards on the table, you're vulnerable.
People value that more.
Exactly. Because what do you worry about? You worry about judgment, right? But it's like if you fuck up or anything like that with, I don't know, with a friend or in business or anything like that, the moment you go, hey, I fucked up here or this happened, no one can say anything because you've got it out there. You put it, it's like fucking 8 Mile, right?
100%.
You go and lay it out on the table. What's the other person going to do? They can't. So I always done it. I remember speaking just in rooms and stuff, and it's like, guys, I'm not very good at this. I get up and get nervous, even though I can normally talk. But I'm going to give it a shot. And then all of a sudden, the weight's off your shoulders, right?
Yeah, with that, I would even say like the way Shill mentioned it to me, he goes, make them aware, be like, look, my stutter's bad today, just bear with me.
There you go, same thing, yeah.
Because he said, oh, how would you word it? And I'm like, oh, apologies, guys, my stutter's bad, which when you tell that to someone, they're like, oh, like that. Oh, poor you. And obviously...
Or is that you judging yourself? You thinking that's the way they're going to be?
Well, when someone says to you, oh, sorry, I got this wrong, you subconsciously think, oh, like, I'm so sorry about that. But when saying, bear with me, I have a stutter today, it's like, oh, okay. Like, it's more...
The way you're saying it.
Yeah, it's more commanding and I would say not respectful, but like, more, this is how it is, bear with me. That demands like, that's more respect received.
Not waiting for
Yeah. So that's something that's helped with me and I'm still trying to learn that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you've told me a couple of times about the days that you couldn't do it. Is there days where you've done it and you're like, fuck yeah. So you've got through it. So you've gone to speak to someone, intro yourself. You keep bringing up introing yourself.
Yeah.
Meeting someone.
I actually haven't met.
You haven't nailed it?
I haven't actually told someone when it has been bad. I've just pushed through.
No, good. When have you nailed it?
Nailed it when...
Like you've shook their hand and said, hi, I'm Keoni.
When I have momentum behind the...
So you've done it with me?
Yeah. When I have momentum behind the sentence, and what that means is if I can't find a substitute for a word which I can't pronounce, I will think of another way of saying that word so that momentum and fluency is fluent in the sentence, which when you're doing that all the time, man, it's fucking tiring. but there's been times where I haven't been able to find a substitute for the word, and I have had one of those moments where I can't say the sentence, and it's something I'm still learning.
So when Dave put you on the spot the other week, introed you to me as soon as I walked in the room, it just kind of all flowed. I can't remember you studying then when you shook my hand.
It's weird, man. It's 100%. Most likely I didn't have one of those moments, but it's something that happens and I don't know.
Yep.
Like, who was it? Yeah, as I mentioned with the director I met the other week, that moment I couldn't predict that it was going to happen. It just happened, whether it's nerves, feeling comfortable or whatnot. Like, it's something that it's a mystery. No one knows.
Yep.
Which is the frustrating part.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so it's just something that is evolving.
So go back to asking your mum in the kitchen the other week. What'd she say to you? Like, after you come home and said that, let's talk about that darker moment you must have had at that time, right? Something obviously hit home for you. And this is, other people resonate to this, and this is really important because you've come out and you're one of the most positive young guys I know, and you switched on, you could go talk to 10 other 20-year-olds and could be having a different conversation. But how did it hit you when mum said that, and what else come out of it?
I think it was a bit of a realization on, like, in primary school, I was a challenged kid. I was naughty, if you could say. Like, I was always sent outside. I was always sat on the sad mat in music class. I just didn't want to be there.
How old are you talking?
Oh, this
15?
was, yeah. Oh, no, this was in primary school. So I was always in trouble, always getting sent to the principal's office. And I think it's because I just didn't fit in. I didn't felt I belonged. And going into high school, that's something I've blended in a bit better, but I still obviously was a challenged kid. I got in trouble, didn't get sent to the principal's office too many times, but I was never that perfect, quiet kid until halfway year 12 when I just didn't give a fuck. Like, I was reading in the back of class, reading sales books. That's when I really locked in. That time in my high school journey, which was,
do you know what,
an unusual period.
I would, even with my kids now, my kids are really good at school, right?
Hell yeah.
At 11 and 12, my daughter's 13 next week or the week after. They're good kids. I reckon they're a really good balance, but would I want them quiet in the corner and be that perfect kid? No. Because if you're not, it's like fucking now. If you're not stepping on someone's toes or doing something, your mind's not going, you're not, I think one of the fucking main skills is people skills. 100%. Now, if you're sitting in the corner and you're that perfect kid, is that perfect, or is that you don't have confidence, you're not talking out, and you're not, where's the
I'd say it's perfect in the system, if that makes sense.
Yeah, correct, right? But what about confidence then, and talking, and and they might not have a stutter and all that kind of stuff, and it's all fucking happy days, but then they don't have the confidence is a really big piece, right? And social skills, right? We're social beings. How many people that have got confidence and that come out but might have been naughty at school do all right? You end up working it out, right? Do you align with the system? No. Are you challenging the system? Yes. Is it the system that needs to evolve? And I'm not saying we should be fucking pain in the asses.
Yeah.
But I think it's both sides, man. Like, go and look at how many people have done all right, then just follow the system. And then how many take risks? What are you going to do in life? You got to take fucking risks, so you're not growing, right?
100%.
The person sitting in the back corner gets perfect days because all they do is study, do that, don't talk much. Now, how do they end up when they get out? What risks do they take? Very risk adverse. I don't think there's any right or wrong, and I'm not saying that's wrong either, because we need all different people in the world. We need
100%.
doctors, we need engineers, and people that study and do all that. Great, yep. Doing what we're doing now, they probably won't do that, right?
Yeah, that's something I'm big on. Like, obviously, if school was so entrepreneurial, think for yourself, come up with these innovative ideas and build something around that, society would collapse. It sucks that it's not like that, but I understand why it hasn't evolved, because we need, like literally the Rockefellers, they had an agenda, they've pushed that agenda, and it's a successful agenda. Why would they change the agenda when it's so successful? Obviously, you're going to have outliers in the pack, and it's just how
I think schools change. Look, I always say the same, schools not changing, right? The fucking, and then you wait, you go to tests and all that. But I got on interviews with all the teachers, and it was a hot seat thing on not a Teams, but a what do you call it, online thing to do interviews for end of term for my daughter.
Mm.
And you get 10 minutes each teacher. And that was pretty cool. And
Right.
I do think teachers' personality, attitude, and I'm talking about the school system here, and also the classes they do, it has changed, I do believe. Like, is it a dramatic change? No. But I think, you got the STEMs now.
Yes.
All that. You would have gone through probably all that, I'm guessing. That stuff probably wasn't that. Them programs and framework went around when I was a kid, right? So,
I think also younger teachers are getting in now.
Yeah.
Which is shifting
most were the other
drastically.
day, it was good talking to them. They were really good, and the way they talk and the way they describe something was pretty good. I was pretty happy with it. It was actually good to see and good to learn what the system's like now. Yeah, does it need a big shift? I think one of the biggest is like go back to anxiety, nerves, and stuff like that. I think more speak in front of the class and stuff like that would be really good to build confidence up.
100% agree.
But all
it's tricky because like it was the other day. Channel 9 News put out like students were protesting against AI, and I commented on it, and they want AI banned in schools, and I commented this is exactly why AI is going to take their jobs, and I sparked World War III in the comments. And yes, school has evolved, and it's good that it has, but also it's hard to keep up with society now.
Yep.
Like we are evolving so quickly into if you have an idea, you can actually make it reality in 2 clicks on Claude.
Yep.
Like it's crazy, and school can't keep up with that, and I don't blame them because it is rapid acceleration in the evolution of society. So I think not being taught how to leverage these tools as tools and not being dependent on it is something that I feel that is where we're getting independent, innovative, young individuals coming out of these systems and people that are just floating through type thing.
My opinion on that is you can't block of evolution out in technology, I don't reckon, right?
Yeah.
Everything's balanced. Same with the kids now, right? Like I probably leave my kids some days, they probably play the iPads and that too much. But the amount they learn, like out of Roblox and Minecraft and that, and YouTube, like honestly, we can say that it dumbs them down and all that stuff. Mate, same as the fucking calculator when it come out. Like it speeds things up. Like, all right, go back 20 years or whatever when the calculator, 30, 40 years, when the calculator come out. Did it matter now that we used it then? Because no doubt they would have had the same thing in class. We're not doing hand formulas. You're starting to use calculators, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Now, does it matter today that we use the calculator? No, because that's not even a fucking conversation, right? Because are we doing anything written on paper now? Formulas? No. So it didn't matter because it's like AI, right? It speeds the process up and you end up concentrating on another piece.
I've just thought of something. That's actually really smart. Like having...
It's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, but like for example, the school my sister goes to has banned AI. Like you actually can't access it because they have Wi-Fi blockers. So having maybe an external speaker come in, this is like a business idea right now, and talking to these schools on how to use AI in the education system, how to study with AI.
Balance it.
Exactly.
Put limitations, not saying no.
Yeah.
Let them do everything. But like, if I didn't give my kids the iPads, do you know how much shit they wouldn't learn? Do you know how many words they know that I never knew till I was probably 30? Because, like, why limit them? I think it's balance once again. Like, it's like AI now. Everyone goes, but we're going to lose our jobs. But how many is it created? And I'm not saying the balance is that it's perfect, but horse and cart to tractor to, the whole bit. You can hold it back as long as you want. And is it holding back because the school can't keep up or the parents can't keep up or whatever? That's probably more to the point. Like go write an article now, a blog, like, we build websites in 12 weeks normally. You do it in like a good one in like an hour now. You know what I mean? I can go write an article now. Would I write an article before? No. Like you're creating it. It's a man and machine. Dave Clare talks about it. Man, right? Man and machine.
Yeah.
So, and this was before AI, more just tech. Put them together. It's fucking unstoppable. Like using AI to evolve whatever you're doing, not replace it. And yeah. And Dave talks about this a fair bit. And I think the schools, imagine educating the kids a little bit, 20% of it using AI to get where you do. Like imagine in 5 years where they'd be if they were already using Claude or whatever the base school version is.
Yeah, man, that's unreal. Even like basic stuff on how to prompt it. Like, and actually educating on why you don't want to depend on these tools. knowing, like, simple, like, tool analogy, like, to become a Sparky, you need to know how to strip cable a certain way.
Yep.
You can't just throw the pliers at the cable expecting it to strip.
Yep.
Same thing with AI. You can't just throw information expecting the right outcome you're hoping to achieve.
Yep.
So knowing how to prompt it, the past, present, future process of prompting. So knowing how to do that and teaching that young kids can then leverage that to study, to prep for assessments, to gain more knowledge that they may not be able to get in the 40-minute
Because if they don't get taught a certain base, right, they're gonna go home, some of them, and use it. Some will go home and won't use it at all. Some will do it with friends, some won't. So there'll be all this balance out of the whole AI understanding. But if everyone learnt the same, and then imagine how much more would come out of that, right? Because in 5 years, they're all going to use it anyway. Because right now, we don't have a fucking choice. We're going to be using AI and we don't even know we're using it. I'm not talking Claude, man. I'm just talking about on phones and everything else.
Exactly.
My daughter, my daughter and my boy at home, my daughter's like, I'm not using AI. And she's talking about like more environmental side of things and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, daughter, but on your iPad. And she's like, no, I won't use that and I won't use that. But this is a while ago, last time I had them, she was using something on her iPad that had AI in it. And I think she's starting to realize she can't get away from it.
Yeah.
So Hunter will say to Ivana, you know, Javi, that there's AI in that now? Like, because you just can't get away from it. You couldn't probably eliminate it if you tried these days, unless you use no technology.
Yeah.
But I really love her point because she was, and I said, if you want Dad to help you in any which way, but she was more talking, I can't remember what it was. It was more about the environment than anything else.
It's like the cooling systems, like they're all underwater. The like PC cooling systems for these AI technologies.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know much about this. Yeah.
Yeah, like you research cooling room for like AI systems, all underwater, because on how hot they get, which is a spin out because it's not educated to the general guy using AI. So everyone's like, ooh, prompt this, prompt that. But each time you're prompting, these engines are having to work harder and harder, using more water and all that. And yes, it's not economically friendly or whatever, but you got no choice.
Yep.
Like there's no system to replace that, or no one has come up with a more innovative, cost-effective, environmentally friendly way to utilize that unless you have these systems in Antarctic. Or
how much do you use it?
Oh, bro, like I hit my Claude limit 2 to 3 times a day.
Yep.
I use up all my tokens.
Yep.
Because I'm always vibe coding CRM systems, websites, leveraging that to research on competitors, all that. So yeah, I'm leveraging that as a tool to help speed up the process.
Yep.
Compared to if I went to do that on my own, where what you would spend an hour on AI could take 6 hours.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just, it is where it is at the moment.
Yep.
And like personally, I can't do you can personally do something about it by limiting the use of it. But man, it's one of those things where you just have to keep going or find an alternative.
So let's get away from the AI for a sec. Let's go back to probably your biggest significant shift in your life and probably got you to sit here where you are today. Talk us about the apprenticeship and getting shocked.
So when I finished school, I got a job as electrical apprentice, and I knew it, as I mentioned, it wasn't something I wanted to do. And 2.5 years in, I was working with another apprentice at the time, which is illegal. You need to be working with a qualified Sparky as an apprentice. The job that changed my life was a job, we were hooking up hot water system units in an apartment just near Perth Airport. Super sketchy motel, man. Like, overcast, like, you know, when you're a kid and you walk down a hallway and it's just that darkness, gloom. Yeah, it was something like that. Like this hallway, dark, nobody there except for a cleaner. The first 2 units, I fitted off perfectly, went fine, isolated, test before you touch, the basics. Went to plan. However, the cleaner was complaining in unit 3, oh, there's no power. And I'm like, hold on 1 second, let me finish this and then I'll be with you shortly. So I went to unit 3, the lights weren't on. There was no lights at all, even when I switched on the switch. So there's no power. The other apprentice came in and he goes, oh, there's no power to the main switch. So we think when the plumber disconnected the hot water system because they have their restricted electrical license, active neutral sparked out and tripped the main breaker downstairs supplying power to this smaller board. So using my initiative, I begin work, isolated my circuit, hot water system off, and started work. Active in the active terminal, neutral in the neutral terminal, and then came to the earth.
Yep.
The earth wasn't in yet, and all of a sudden the lights went back on, and I'm like, oh, cool. The apprentice turned the power on downstairs. That means the unit has power now. Happy days. Little did I know, even though I switched off the hot water system breaker, that was the wrong circuit. So really, it was labeled wrong on the switchboard. So I trusted a label. And as that was switched on, as I was doing up the earth, my hands wrapped around the element, which was energized. And I had 240 volts passing through me around, could have been anywhere from 5 to 16 amps.
Wow.
Going through me, which was crazy because all it takes to kill someone with electricity is 0.5 amps.
Yep.
So in theory, I should have been swept up in a dustpan that day, but
wow,
I somehow survived. And
so what happened? You got electrocuted?
The way I describe it to someone is, imagine you're like reading a book on paradises of Maldives, and all of a sudden your hair gets pulled back and you're shot in the face.
Wow.
It's that shock, that split second of, oh fuck, and then it's over.
Fuck.
So I had that, oh fuck, like I think I screamed. I wasn't sure. It all happened so quickly. And then I was kind of detached from it. I knew what happened.
Yep.
I felt a lot of pain, but I stood up and my chest started feeling tight and I knew what happened. And
So were you by yourself?
At the time, yes.
Yep.
In the very quick moment I was attached, all I wished for is another chance.
Yep.
And I got it.
Wow. That's amazing.
Which is crazy, man. And
absolutely amazing.
Yeah, shit went down with my employer.
How old were you there then?
17.
So 3 years ago, yeah, a bit over.
Oh,
yep.
Actually maybe, 17, right before my 18.
Yeah. So what happened with the employer and that?
I got slapped with a few fines.
Yep.
Western Power got involved, lawyers got involved, lawsuits.
Yep.
Yeah, it was pretty heavy, so I had to get out of that company pretty quickly because it was just a shit environment at the time.
Yep.
Nothing against them. Perth is a small world, so I understand what
of course,
everyone knows each other down the line, but I'm so thankful for that opportunity because in that moment I realized that everything can change so quickly.
Yep.
Literally. So why am I being held back by all these fears of waiting for the perfect moment to start when, as cliche it is, it's never going to be the right time, and you're only going to realize that the right time is now when it's taken away from you.
Yep.
And that's what almost happened. So that moment.
Wow.
Everything.
And then, so how long, like you went into hospital and all that, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I got hooked up to an MRI machine. Thankfully, I was all okay.
Yep.
Because the biggest thing when you get a shock is if you don't get it checked out, when your heart goes to resting that night, you just don't wake up because your heart stops because it's out of rhythm from that shock, that spike, and then it's out.
Did you have to get checked up again later?
No, it was just that one time. They hooked you up for like 15 minutes, waited in ED for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Good fun, as you know.
Yep.
And yeah, that moment really brought me to reality.
Yep. And then how long until you shifted like from a Sparky to just fucking, I'm going to go do something else?
It was a couple of years. It was a year. Once I left my old company.
Oh, so you went to another company?
Yep. Got another apprenticeship somewhere else. And during that apprenticeship, I was just building my business with that camera.
Wicked.
And from there, December, I got around 6 clients. It was flat out, like waking up at 4, working till 7, going to work for 9 hours, coming home, working, just rinse and repeat 7 days a week.
Shit.
And then at the start of this year, crazy, I got really sick. And I think it was just exhaustion.
Yep.
A lot going on. I don't want to call it burnout because I don't think it was. Probably was to an extent. But I'm not putting a label on it.
You're trying to say burnout because you're fucking 20.
Yeah, exactly.
That's self-judgment. Do you know what, though? Like I was saying before, you got to read your body at a certain point, and we don't in our 20s and 30s.
But I'm glad I did that because I knew something needed to be sacrificed then. And it wasn't going to be my full-time job. It wasn't going to be... it wasn't going to be the business, wasn't going to be the podcast or my studies. It was a full-time job. So I knew I had to drop something.
Good on you.
So I looked at myself in the mirror one day and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it.
Cool. So you've taken that leap. You've had a big fucking oh shit moment.
Yeah.
Right? And then you've put yourself first.
Yeah.
And you go and get rid of all the fear and do what I love doing instead of, doing something that maybe was driven from a bit of, automatic this is what you got to do in life, get an apprenticeship, whatever it was. We were speaking the other day, and I know we're going to wrap it up in a minute, and no doubt we'll continue. But you told me you learned a little bit offshore about how to intro, speak, and all that, and you went and spoke to someone pretty important to do with the wheat belt, and now you've got a wicked gig coming up.
Yeah,
tell me a bit about that. Like, that's the upside of all these decisions you made. And
100%, man. Like, when I first left my job, like, the family wasn't super supportive. They were very skeptical.
Of course.
Yeah, which I don't.
They're meant to be.
100%. They want the best for me, and they saw that was the only route, and that was okay. And it wasn't until you make your first, 10 grand a month, you look at everything and you're like, fuck, like, I've earned my yearly wage in 4 months of doing my own business, which that is a spin out because you're obviously not, you're putting shit tons of hours, but it's something you love. So it doesn't feel like a drag, if that makes sense. So that moment, my parents were like, oh, it's working out.
Yeah.
I'm new to business. I'm well aware of that. So I'm only starting the rocky journey, which.
Do you still live with your parents?
Yeah,
wicked.
Yeah.
Fucking lap that up as long as you can.
100%, man. Yeah, I still pay like $100 a week on board, so I'm laughing. But it's good. It's good.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, so what's next? What's the projection of future look like then?
I'm taking GC Media global. So I'm envisioning teams in Europe, all different places around the world to have a global impact through story-led content, because we're all surrounded by this AI bullshit. And my mission is to redefine global marketing. And the way to do that is having a more of a global effect through having different teams.
Yep.
And the way to do that from today is just doing one more reach out, one more cold call, because that one more could lead to so many opportunities. And just keep doing the podcast because the opportunities that have come from that, man, you can't put a price on that. Unreal.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's cool. That's pretty ambitious. And it's, but hey, you can't get there unless you got that fucking vision, hey?
Amen.
Yeah, cool. Should we wrap it up? I know you got another meeting.
Yeah, it's a shame because I'm in the flow state right now.
Yeah. We could. And I'll prep for the next one. But mate, it was really good. What I might do is I'll talk to you tomorrow or later today.
Yeah.
I might get last week's we done, and we might throw that in.
Absolutely.
Because it was very similar. And it was a bit of a continuance from that.
100%.
Yeah, because we fucked around with cameras and that a bit today. So, but, and if we have to, we can, in a few weeks, we can jump back on and do what we need to. But we did talk about maybe doing a bit of a project. And hence, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I come out of the other day talking to you. You might be 20 and whatnot, but I need probably your little bit of ask. This is your game, this video side of thing and content, and this whole, I want to change the way the marketing's done. I need to be consistent with content, not the podcast. I'm talking in the insurance and business. I probably need your help to get that. I say that very, very easily, man. It doesn't matter how long you've been on this planet. if that's your gig and that's what you do, and you're doing that at 20, I'm stoked and proud to fucking.
And it's something like you're so good at what you do, like diversifying the skill sets is one resistance on the already busy lifestyle they have. My job simply just to make your life easy and bring in that quality reach.
Because everyone, and we'll get to this, another 5-10 years will be different again, but we should be doing an hour or two of like recordings and content. It's just everything's organic content now, man. It's the most
huge on that, man. Yeah.
YouTube shorts and reels is probably the most number one thing you should be doing, right? Because it's about education and being the subject matter expert in what you do, right?
Literally,
and none of us do it enough.
Exactly. Like, trust builds an audience. Audience builds a brand. And with that audience, you can convert sales and just that support, which...
And that trust piece a lot of it comes from authenticity, right? So how do you get that? It's just by consistently recording, not being fake or anything like that, like recording and getting it and putting content out. And it'd be great to get you to help me to do that. Yeah.
Amen. Paul, thank you so much, man. Cheers, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome.